Hey, what's up, guys? It's MugenLord here, and today we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch successor. Many people are speculating that it's going to be the Nintendo Switch 2, but apparently Nintendo themselves, the president, has stated that yes, Nintendo Switch 2 will be backwards compatible. Now, it may seem like little, but that's a big fucking deal. So before we even get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. We're going to dive right into it. So apparently from TheVerge.com, it states that Nintendo says that the Switch successor will be compatible with Switch games. Thank you, Lord. And we'll get into that in a second. The company says that the Nintendo Switch Online will makes its way to the technically still unannounced console too. Nintendo hasn't announced its Switch successor yet, but we do know one thing for sure. It will be able to play current Switch games and have carryover for your Nintendo Switch Online service and account. The news was announced during Nintendo's mid-year policy briefing with further information promised at a later date. Nintendo also talked about numbers for the current Switch PDF, noting that it sold 4.72 million units in the past 3 months. God damn, a drop of 31% compared to the same period last year, but well above previous console 8 years after the launch. So that's crazy. Like, despite it being a 31% drop, it's still pretty high compared to the same period last year. So it's of the previous consoles. So what makes it so much important is that these guys have a large install base. Nintendo Switch has a large install base. It will be so stupid to make a new console and just erase that entire install base that you have because it's not backwards compatible, but we'll talk more about it. That adds up to 146 million Switch units sold in a new record for software sales on a Nintendo platform, which reached 1.3 billion units as of September 30th, 2024. It also noted that Switch Online subscriptions dropped slightly from last year to about 34 million members. At the same time, the number of people opting for the pricier version with the expansion library of games continued to increase. So that's what we're probably seeing here, is that the subscription service may be dropping for here, but it seems like there may be because people are going over to the expansion service, and that's why they're seeing an increase over there. So people probably leaving one and going to the other. That's what it appears to me, the way it sounds. It said so. According to the presentation, more software has been played on Nintendo Switch than any other Nintendo hardware. That makes sense. Like we talked about this before, this was so smart about the Switch. The Switch had took everything from Nintendo Wii U, made remasters, put it on their platform. Then you have the online store where you're able to get some of the Nintendo classics that you're able to play. Nintendo 64, NES, Game Boy Advance. You're able to play almost not everything, but you're able to play majority of Nintendo's history all on the Nintendo Switch. Like that's preservation right there. So as we continue, it says all three of the major console manufacturers has had spotty records for backwards compatibility. Both the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are mostly backwards compatible, but since the transition from the Wii U involved going from disc to cartridges, the Switch is not. Playing a game from the previous Nintendo consoles at the moment is a function of optimism, involving the hope that neither Nintendo releases a remastered Switch port or brings the game to its Switch Online library, but that won't be the case this time around. According to Nintendo, the Switch 2, or whatever it's actually called, is still on schedule to be revealed during this fiscal year, which runs until the end of March 2025, without interrupting Nintendo's existing connection with over 100 million annual Switch players. This is a Fukuroka company management policy briefing. We announced that the Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on a successor to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to the Nintendo Switch as well. So further information will be discussed. The conversation about backwards compatibility isn't just about the player satisfaction, but it's also video game preservation. I just said that. A report from the Video Game History Foundation found that over 87% of games released before 2010 are currently in danger or unavailable for purchase. While Nintendo has brought some of its catalog back to the Switch, there are still a lot of inaccessible games. Nintendo also directly contributed to increasing scarcity of older games by shutting down the Wii U and 3DS eShop last year. So yes, The news comes as Nintendo seemed to intent on announcing everything but details to the next console. The last few weeks have included the opening of a museum, a test for mystery MMO, a reveal of an alarm clock, and the launch of music streaming app. So yes, see, Nintendo, you gotta understand is the reason why Nintendo, and it's not making an excuse for them, but I'm just telling you to think from their perspective. You have to understand when it comes to Nintendo. Nintendo is more so 100% strictly a video game company. Unlike Sony and Microsoft, they have other business ventures tied in. Sony don't just rely on just their consoles. They rely on their Sony Pictures, their music labels and stuff like that. They have so many other things tied into it besides the PlayStation. See, Nintendo have everything, just strictly video games. Their IPs are their bread and butters, so they are very, very protective over it, which is why they go at the emulators, which is why people will argue, hey, they should start putting their games on the PC and stuff like that. It's fucking stupid. You may disagree with me. Having Nintendo have their games on PC is the most brain dead ideal they could ever do, because right now they don't need the PC. Their consoles are selling. And the reason why they don't, and the reason why it's stupid to put it on PC, why would you need a Switch? Why would you want to have any of that type of stuff when you have a much more superior version to be able to play these Nintendo games? So if people's playing on a PC, people's playing on the Steam Deck, why would you get a Nintendo Switch? Why would you play a Nintendo console at all, for that matter? When you can play a Nintendo IP at 60 frames per second, you can mod it, all kinds of visuals and everything, and that would hurt their console sales. That would be business suicide, which is why you don't see this. Is why you don't see this, and this is why they purposely go at these emulations. So they can pretty much do what Disney does. Called, you know how Disney had the Disney Vault, where every so many years they come out and release their classics again for special editions and whatever they're trying to do. Similar to what Nintendo did with the Mario 3D collection, where it comes with Mario 64, Galaxy, and Sunshine. They did something like that before. They create the scarcity and they put it out there. And that's what they would also want to do with their IPs. Do you agree with it? No. And I think it's kind of also like scummy at the same time, but at the same time, I understand that, because me being a creator myself and protecting and me wanting to protect my own IP, I definitely can see that angle. Where people don't understand if they're not creators themselves or don't have IPs of their own. So I definitely understand that. But the importance of backwards compatibility, you don't understand. Nintendo has been kicking ass with the Nintendo Switch, which I'll be talking about in another video of why I think Nintendo Switch is way better as far as my gaming experience. Is way better than the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I know it makes me sound like I'm a fanboy, but I want to explain why the Nintendo Switch is such a superior console, not in terms of power, but what it offers in terms of the gaming experience. And now Nintendo has been making so much money with the Nintendo Switch as far as their consumer base and as far as their software sales, hardware sales. It would be stupid, because every console race, every time they introduce a new console, you have to start all over again. Which is the same reason why Sony is having a hard time letting go of the PS4 install base. Is because that install base has so many users that they still want to be able to recoup some of their money from their development of these bloated budgets that they have at these studios. So that's why we're still seeing cross-generational games. At the same time, it's hindering the PS5 and what they can do with their games, because they still have to compensate for with the previous generation. So it will be stupid for Nintendo. It will be stupid for Nintendo to have such a huge install base, just for them to start all over again and ditch and forget about that install base by not making Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the successor may be, to be able to play those games. That would be business suicide. And the reason why I'm happy for this backwards compatibility, remember I always talked about my backlog of games. Most of my backlog of games are Nintendo Switch games. I have a huge libraries of backlog games that I haven't opened. I've just been buying games that haven't been opened them, haven't gotten around to them because of what I'm doing with Venus Orion Comics and many other business ventures that I'm doing. I haven't had time to really dive in and invest, and it would suck that the next Nintendo Switch or whatever the next console is, that now I have to hold on to my Nintendo Switch just to play my old games, while at the same time I have my new Nintendo Switch 2, to play the newest Nintendo Switch 2 games. It would just be stupid. Just meld it all together, and now I don't have the fear of, okay, now I can be able to play those games, my backlog, and carry it on to my on my Nintendo Switch too. So I'm just happy for that. I think that's just good news, a smart move, so they can just continue to further and expand. They can expand their user base moving forward, and plus, you know, the consumers are going to have both a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2, so they're going to be double dipping at the same time. It just makes so much sense. But I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about this entire thing, this whole situation that the Nintendo Switch is the home of majority of the Nintendo games right about now, and game preservation is a thing. I think Nintendo Switch is a perfect example of that, despite them going at these fucking people who emulate and stuff like that, which I think is still shitty on Nintendo's part. But at the same time, Nintendo Switch has the most, like, right now in this current generation, preservation as far as games are concerned, because you could play a huge library. Yes, there's still some titles out there that we're missing, but you can't say that there's not, like, that they don't have anything. They have quite a few titles that cross a couple of these platforms. So I definitely need your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this? Do you think that it's a smart move to have backwards compatibility for Nintendo Switch 2? And will you pick up a Nintendo Switch 2 once we finally get an actual official announcement and reveal of the console itself? So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.